Well, hello and welcome to our webinar about automating the fulfillment of medical record requests. My name is Tom Seco and I am the Business Development Manager for DAS Health. Before we get started on today's webinar, I would like to cover a couple items regarding the webinar itself. One, I want to let you know that this webinar will be recorded. Two, everyone's phone will remain muted throughout the entire webinar. So if you do experience audio issues, please use the chat box to let us know so that we can resolve it. And then three, I also want to let you know that there is not a one-size-fits-all solution for the ideas that we express in today's webinar. I'd also like to introduce Joe Scholes. Joe is our Product Solutions Director, and he and his team developed the solution that we are talking about today. This is an agenda I put together for today's webinar, so I'm going to take about 90 seconds in the beginning to introduce you to DAS Health. And I'm going to take you quickly through a couple slides to kind of lay a foundation for what you're going to see in the demonstration. And then I'll turn it over to Joe, and he's going to take you through a demonstration of the ChartGuard OnDemand solution. And at the end of the presentation, we'll answer any questions that you have as well. So as you think of questions, you may type them into the questions area of the webinar control panel whenever they occur to you throughout the presentation, and like I said, we'll answer the questions at the end. So who is DAS Health? We are a leading provider of health and IT management solutions. We're a trusted consultant to many physician groups, hospitals, and healthcare systems across North America. We have 20+ years of experience with NextGen, and we have a broad and deep portfolio of services. We have over 200 employees in the company, and we've worked with over 425 clients that use NextGen. Our passion is to work with our clients to improve patient care, work with our clients to enhance the patient experience, and work with our clients to maintain a financially healthy practice. Our mission is to improve the healthcare experience by delivering the highest value health and IT business solutions to our clients. And over the 20 years, we've developed a strong relationship with NextGen, and we will continue to develop that relationship with NextGen as well. And bottom line is, we're here to help and serve you in any way that we can. This is a look at our solutions and services model. I'm not going to go into each one of the areas, but I am going to point out that we divided it into 3 areas: practice management, information technology, and patient care. The solution that we're talking about today, automating the fulfillment of medical record requests, falls into the productivity, products, and enhancements category of practice management. Well, that's a little bit about who we are, but before we get started, I'd just like to take a quick poll, 3-question poll about your experiences with medical records. So the first poll's question is, how many hours do you typically spend in a week fulfilling medical record requests? Do you spend less than 5 hours a week, 5 to 10 hours a week, 11 to 20 hours a week, or more than 25 hours a week? I'll go ahead and give you a couple more seconds. So I'll close it out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let me share that with you. It looks like 40% is more than 25 hours a week, and the rest spread across evenly across the other 3 categories. The second one is, what is the volume of medical record? What is the volume of patient medical histories you typically generate each week? You generate less than 10 a week, 11 to 25 a week, 26 to 50 a week, 51 to 100 a week, or more than 100 a week? And I'll go ahead and give you a couple more seconds. And I'll close it out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me go ahead and share that with you. So a third of you more than 100, a third of you 26 to 50, and a third split between the other two. So thank you very much. And here's one last poll question. This is about the frequency. So what frequency do you typically process medical record requests? Do you frequently fulfill medical record requests? Is it a daily task for you, a weekly task, a monthly task, or once you receive the request, you immediately work on it and get it completed? Give you a couple more seconds. And we'll close it out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll go ahead and share that with everybody. So 80% say it's a daily task, and the remaining it's a weekly task. So again, thank you very much for doing that. And then so we'll get back to the webinar now. So as I mentioned earlier, for audio clarity purposes, everyone's phone will remain muted throughout the entire webinar. So if you do experience audio issues, please use chat box to let us know. All of the products that we developed over the years, that Joe and his team developed over the years, there's 3 common themes that he's put into each product, and that is making the job easier, making the process more efficient by streamlining it and or automating it, and then working to save people time and effort. And I think you'll see that in this product as well. So why do practices and health centers use ChartGuard OnDemand, a software to automate this process? They use it because it can be a very time-consuming manual process. You receive requests from insurances and from attorneys and from individual patients and even from your own internal staff. And when you receive these requests, people have told us that some of their processes can be as cumbersome as having to print reports. And then once they print a report, they have to go in and pick out the particular information that's needed. And then they have to populate that into another report. And then they have to collate all of these reports. And then they have to end up, faxing and scanning them to create the end product. And then have to deliver that to the requesting party. So it can be quite a cumbersome process. And in some cases, we've heard requests from insurances for audit purposes and review purposes. They can get requests from an insurance that requires 50 or 60 patients in one request. And we even talked to a prospect that had said they had a request for 500 patients in one request from an insurance company. So they can be quite extensive when they come in like that, and it can take an extensive amount of time to do that. So in using a product like ChartGuard OnDemand, it does definitely automate the process. It definitely does free up people's time to work on, give them time to work on other tasks as well. This is a slide that shows the percentages just of the poll that you went through with us. But over the past couple of years, we've been keeping statistics from the discussions that we've been having with prospects and clients on medical record requests and fulfilling them. And what you're seeing here is statistics from those discussions that we've tabulated over the past couple of years. So in the left-hand box is about how frequently the organization fulfills medical record requests. And you see here, the super majority work to fill the request within the week that it's received, which is, what we saw in our poll as well. The center box is about the number of hours the organization spends fulfilling medical record requests. And here you see over half the practices and health centers spend 20 hours or less a week fulfilling medical record requests, and nearly half the practices and health centers spend 5 or more hours a day fulfilling medical record requests. So you spend a significant amount of time fulfilling medical record requests. And the right-hand box is about the volume of medical record requests the organization fulfills on a weekly basis. As you can see here, it's kind of evenly distributed across the 5 categories. So compare that to the responses that you gave, just a couple minutes ago. You can kind of see how you fit within these statistics as well. Just a point of interesting information I thought to share with everybody. So bottom line, and how does the software work? It's a NextGen Add-On program that gets physically installed in your environment. It has an interactive user interface, and you'll see that in the demonstration that Joe takes you through. You can selectively choose a chart generation for a single patient or for a range of patients. You can control the depth of history by entering a range of encounter dates. You can control the depth history by picking a particular rendering provider or by picking a particular financial class as well. The end result is it generates the medical history in a PDF file format. So it makes it very easy to read, very easy to navigate, very easy to hand off to the requesting party. And it can run against the report database. So it doesn't have to run against production. It runs against report, doesn't affect the production environment at all. So you can run it during the day. So that's how the software at the high level works. And what I'm going to do now is turn it over to Joe, and Joe's going to take you through a demonstration.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you everyone for joining us today. We're going to switch over to my demo PC, and I'm going to take you through how the application works and show you what the output of it looks like. So let me go ahead and pick this off the list here. And you should now be seeing my NextGen environment. If for some reason it looks like I'm talking about something that isn't showing on the screen, please let us know. Sometimes if we stop and restart the sharing, it'll go ahead and reset. So getting into ChartGuard OnDemand, we can go ahead and launch it from the add-ons menu. So only people who are in the appropriate groups to have access to it will be able to see it and launch it. I'm going to go ahead and take a minute here and do a quick chart request just to get some going while I talk and take you through the product. So I'll backtrack and show you how all this works in just a moment, but I just want to go ahead and get these going. By the way, that's how quick it was to pick a population of patients and start the chart generation. Now, what's really happening and how do you really use this? In the upper left here is the criteria for the patient or patients that you're looking for. Obviously, we can do exact hits based on last name, first name. If you have a list of their medrec numbers or person numbers, we can go ahead and pick by that. If it's an audit for an insurance or maybe a law firm, that type of stuff, we can go ahead and slice and dice by a particular provider and or financial class that you're looking for. And often what they're looking for is patients that came in within a time period, right? First quarter of 2023, for example. So we could set that as a date range here. Then within that, we can tell it further, all right, if they hit the date range here, pull like the last year's worth of encounters or several years worth of encounters for those people, and go ahead and filter the encounters down by the actual rendering provider on the encounter. So there's all kinds of different ways we can use these fields up here to get the population that you're looking for. In fact, we're always looking at new search criteria up above just because we want to fill your needs. We want to know what you're looking for, how you're using it in the real world, and be able to give you an easy way to do that. So the upper left is who we're looking for, and then the upper right is what we want in the chart, what we want in these PDF files. We're going to produce a paper chart basically in PDF format, one per patient. And instead of you having to run reports and print out screens from different areas of NextGen, in here you can go ahead and pick the items that you're looking for that you want to pull in. So you see a lot of the NextGen module data. We can pull in the documents that you're generating from the template data. We can also pull in information that's being acquired in the document manager / ICS. Similar to what I was talking about before, without having to pull like the entire patient history for someone that's been coming to you for 15 years, we can go ahead and set these where for these documents and images, we're only pulling the last so many of them, right? Like the last 5 over the last 12 months, that type of thing. And that becomes really important with the ICS document manager stuff, because often that can be scanned in and just attached to the patient, not really attached to an encounter. So it really doesn't have an encounter to hang the data off of. So again, it gives you that ability to pick the document type that you're looking for and set the depth on that you're going to go ahead and pull in. Now you can set up different presets of these based on the audience. If it's going to be a law firm, you might include some data and exclude other data. If it's an insurance, maybe they only care about the orders and the medications and don't care about the allergies and immunizations. So you can go ahead and tweak that and have several different sets of presets that would be available up here. So you can go ahead, pick the population, pick the type of chart you're going to pull, and then have those produced. Now, while I've been talking, the system's been working in the background, which is another thing to point out, that it basically sends the work to a server in the data center to be processed so that it doesn't tie up your workstation. And as Tom mentioned, sometimes these are several hundred charts that you're pulling. So we don't want to go ahead and say, you know what, for the next hour, you can't use your workstation anymore. So I can come in here now and look at the status on these. So I will just do a history. And I can see these all completed while I was talking. And I can look at the date time to make sure, yeah, these are mine. These weren't some sitting out here from a prior extract that someone did. And if I want to preview them and look at the data and just validate what I selected is in there, or I selected everything I meant to select, I can go ahead from here and view the charts. Now, as we're generating the charts, we also put a record into the EPHI log in NextGen, so you have that log that it was pulled out into ChartGuard OnDemand. We do that even if you're running against your report database. We still reach over into production and insert that record, just so when you refresh report, you don't lose the record because it's overwritten from production. So the charts themselves are very straightforward. It starts out with a cover sheet that has the patient information, address, guarantors, insurances. And then we get into the various module data that's in here. Now we can go ahead and just scroll through it. We can obviously print it to paper if needed. But if we're using it electronically, we do bookmark everything. So if we do want to jump down to a particular document, we can go ahead and do that right in the bookmark. So as the system's pulling each set of data here, it's going to generate that bookmark into your PDF file for you. And again, you're going to get one PDF file for each patient that you're pulling. And then you could go ahead and take those PDF files and put them on a encrypted drive, or go ahead and upload them to a secure portal. So if you're going to work with them in bulk, you can allow access to the folder in which the charts are generated into. So in this case, it's my ChartGuard output, and we can see these are all sitting in here, and we could go ahead and, again, put them on a drive or upload them to a portal, whatever is your approved process of transferring this information to the other party. It's all named very straightforward. It's last name, first name, and then the date of birth. So it's easy to match up for the other party who's using this information for the review and audit. So that's the key behind ChartGuard OnDemand, is to simplify the process so you no longer have to go to multiple areas of NextGen and print out reports and then collating back together, right? Like shuffling a deck of cards and finally send them off to the other party. We give you the ability to find who you're looking for, pick the information you want in the PDF files, generate it, and then send it off. And again, we're always looking for input from the field on how you're using it and just new features so the product continues to grow. I'll go ahead and turn it back to Tom now to wrap up and do Q&A.
Thank you, Joe. And so you just saw how you can automate the fulfillment of medical record requests. And now that you've seen it, you can imagine how this solution can save you time for the people that do the work. So we realize that each of your practices or health centers operate a little bit differently. With the processes that you have in place. So in the beginning, I mentioned there's not a one-size-fits-all solution. So we encourage you to contact us and let us talk through your processes and see how the solution can be used to save you time, significant time and effort when you go through as you're going through this process. This will give you the opportunity to ask questions as this specifically pertains to your organization and to your processes and your various scenarios that come up as well. So with that being said, we can answer any questions that you have as well. So like I said, if you want to enter the questions in the questions box of the webinar control panel, we'll answer any questions that you have. Also, if you'd like to have a more in-depth discussion about the solution, we can schedule time. You see our information up here as far as our email address and our phone number. You can give us a call or send us an email, and we can schedule time to talk more in depth about the solution. So with that, like I said, we'll answer any questions that you might have. So here's a question, Joe. Did I hear you correctly that the you update the EPHI log?
Yes, we do. That was, again, a request driven by the field. They wanted to have that information logged into NextGen when ChartGuard OnDemand did the extract. So we will go ahead and put a record out there in the EPHI log so that you have it logged there with your NextGen.
Here's another question. Is there any concern of EPHI lingering in the system that we need to be aware of?
The transfer of the information in the PHI itself is contained in these PDF files. So obviously when you go ahead and transfer them off, we recommend that the user then deletes them so that they're no longer available. Obviously, most data centers today have encrypted drives and other protections to make sure that the data at rest stays safe too. It's one of the things we can discuss as we do our installation with you on ChartGuard OnDemand.
Another question, can we get printed page counts?
Printed page counts is on the roadmap for ChartGuard OnDemand. We'll probably provide a overall printed page count per request because we understand that some of the practices out there bill the requester by the number of pages. So if we could do that if you're doing one person, it would give you the pages for that one person. If you're doing like I did in my example, where you have like 25 people, it would give you the total page count across that request of all 25 people so that you could go ahead and pass that cost on. So that is something on the roadmap and will be upcoming in a future version of ChartGuard OnDemand.
Another question, we're hosted by a third party. Does that pose any issues?
We do work with third parties on all of our products, including ChartGuard OnDemand. So again, as part of the kickoff call, we'd recommend pulling in your stakeholders, including anyone you deem appropriate from your third party IT and or hosting.
Another question, what versions of NextGen are supported?
ChartGuard OnDemand works with all the current versions of NextGen. So basically, 5.9 through 6.2021 and so on. It's written to be flexible because we realize some of you have custom templates out there. Some of you use KVM, some of you use a combination. So we really wrote it for the NextGen world where no two NextGen implementations are identical. and the system has flexibility built into it. That's part of the reason why you see we pull the EHR documents instead of the templates, because you can set up your own documents, generate those, and then we can pull that information through the documents without worrying about custom templates.
Let's see here. Question here. One other question here. I probably missed that part, but are you able to filter the encounter documents, for example, the office visit master document?
Yes, it's by the document type. So when I went in there and I was showing the options that could be selected, you'll be shown the different document types, and then you can set the depth for those documents. So if you have a, just a typical master IM or a specific master that you've created for that, you can pick that or not pick it based on what you're looking for.
Okay, if there aren't any other questions, we can go ahead and close out the webinar. Like I said, you see our information up here on the screen. So you can send Joe or myself an email or give us a call, and we can answer the questions that you have. Again, if you'd like to have a more in-depth discussion about the solution and how it would fit within your organization, we can schedule time to talk through that as well. So thank you very much for taking the time to join our webinar today, and look forward to talking with you in the future. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.